Yo, what is going on, guys? In today's video, we are going to be talking about the top 5 best science champions in the game, in my own personal opinion. So, I'm going to the lake for weeks. I wanted to make some videos while I was gone. I was like, you know what? It's been like a year since I've done top 5 for each class. A lot has changed in the game over the last year, so this is the perfect opportunity to make this series again in an updated version of it for this year. So, this time, there's really two main things I'm taking into consideration when I'm making this list. And again, this is all my opinion. It's totally cool if you disagree, because everyone's experience in this game is different. So no one's going to have the exact same view on every single champion, and no one's list is going to be exactly the same on like all the classes, Everyone's a little bit different. Everyone has had different crystal pulls. Everyone's played more and less with different champions. So of course, our opinions are going to be a little bit different, and that's totally cool. But the two categories that I'm going to be focusing on for my list is, the first one is just how good I think a champion is through like what I've seen, what I've heard, and just like from what I believe how good a champion is and their potential. Number two is my own hands-on experience with these characters, because having played them, I have some semblance of where I'd put them in a top 5 list, because it's my opinion, and after playing them with my own two hands, from what I firmly believe where they should be. So yeah, that's how I'm taking into consideration making this list. Again, totally cool if you disagree. I actually like that some people disagree, and I like to have like chats about who's better and why you would rank this champion here. But let's just keep it nice and civil in the comments. And yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on what you think is the top 5. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. Real quick, I'm going to be banning Quake from the science list. She's obviously number 1 in a science class. We all know that. So we're just going to say she's the best and not talk about her anymore, because Quake is Quake. She's brokenly overpowered. We all know that. So just going to get that out of the way. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the top 5 list for science. So coming in at number 5, we have Thing. So Thing, I think, is he's an underrated champion, man. I feel like people don't give this guy the respect that he deserves. He's actually really good, and he can do things that no other champion can do. A lot of other champions are starting to get similar abilities to him. He was the first champion to be completely immune, I think, to Armor Break, Armor Shatter, and Nullify. He had like all these really new immunities, and it made him like such a beast when he first came out, because no other champion could do that. Now there are other champions with these similar immunities, but Thing's signature ability still does what no other champion can do. Like the way he does it, like he can just entirely negate damage, and in somewhere like Incursions, you can really see how brokenly overpowered this ability can be. The potential for this ability is just ridiculous. Like in Incursions, it's the perfect scenario for it. Every single blocked hit will trigger your protection, so you can have like an 85% uptime on protection, and that 15% where it's not up, you're like not getting hit, so it doesn't matter. It is honestly just one of the craziest abilities in the game, and when it's working right, it's arguably the most powerful ability in the game. But it's not always working. But Thing just has so much potential, so I definitely think he definitely deserves a top 5 spot. He's useful in so many different areas of the game. AQ, AW, defense, offense, like so many purposes for this guy, so many different things that he can tackle. I just think he's very deserving of the top 5 spots, and yeah, I don't think he gets the respect that that he deserves. So coming in at the number 4 spot, we have Immortal Abomination. So this dude is an absolute monster, dude. He looks like a monster. Like Immortal Abomination, when him and iHulk both got announced, I was so excited for Immortal Hulk, and Abomination, like I wasn't really too concerned, because back then, like the Abomination we had sucked, and I wasn't really, looking forward to a new one. But this guy just was shining so bright, dude. Like, it's crazy what this man can do. The poison damage that he can get going is insane. He can just get so much damage. He can be unblockable. It's nuts. He can have poisons on himself, so he can actually heal from willpower, which basically gives him like a passive regen. It's nuts. He's so suicide friendly, and he's one of the best counters for Doctor Doom in the entire game, which Doctor Doom is so annoying, man. And I think that we're going to see, once rank 4s come out, I think Doctor Doom is probably going to be the most popular rank 4 choice. So when that happens, you know, Immortal Abomination's stock is only going to go up, man. But yeah, I think this guy is just an absolute beast. There's so much he can do, and he does it in weird and unique ways as well, which is really cool. Yeah, Brian Grant actually helped work on Immortal Abomination. I think that's part of why he's so cool. And yeah, he's such an awesome champ. He can do so much damage, and he's good in short fights, medium fights, and long fights. You just play him a little bit differently, which I think is really awesome. So yeah, Immortal Abomination definitely deserves the number 4 spot. I don't think he's slept on too much. I think everyone knows just how good this guy is. I think that's why his arena score was so high when he was in the basic. But yeah, that's our number 4 spot. Let's move on to the number 3 spot, which is Captain America Infinity War. So I recently actually pulled this guy as a 6-star, which is super cool, man. Unfortunately, you know, he's not awakened or anything, but Captain America still such a beast, man. It's crazy how good this guy is. He's so simple, and yet he's still just so good, because his block proficiency is just phenomenal. Like, what is that block proficiency? It's 76.7%. That's so high, man. You know, just having that block proficiency in and of itself is just such a great base ability. And then, you know, paired with his playstyle of wanting to do heavy attacks, you know, even if you can't parry heavy, you know, you can bait out heavy attacks, because the block damage, it's not crazy, you know. And if you have the problem, Captain America doesn't rank any higher for me, is just that he requires others to reach his full potential, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just other characters can, you know, do stuff on their own. But, you know, Captain America with others on his team, you know, his signature ability can go crazy, you know, with having a mutant champion. You can get kinetic potential with skill. You can purify debuffs, which is sick. With science, you can place weakness on the opponent, which, you know, if you need a lot of debuffs, can be really useful. Mystic, you know, you can gain a kinetic charge each time a buff expires or is nullified. Cosmic, you can place armor breaks, which can be extremely useful in a lot of circumstances, and just increases your damage output. And then with Tech Champs, you know, you can get Petrifies, which is a huge piece of utility. The only problem is that you need to use other champions. You need to rely on other champions to gain these abilities. But when it works out with your team, you know, if you're already bringing like a tech champion on your team, and like, you know, and that's the thing with like Alliance War and Alliance Quest, you know, you only have 2 other spots on your team, so it's gonna be kind of annoying. But if it works out, then, you know, it's fantastic. And yeah, same. He's got some cool synergies to help others too. But yeah, I think this guy is awesome. There's just so much he can do. I think he definitely deserves that top 3 spot. It's just him being kind of reliant on others, which doesn't make him any higher for me personally. Number 2, we have my boy Void. Tried and true, Void has been one of the best science champions in the game since he came out, man. It was crazy. I remember when Sentry was coming out, Sentry and Void, I was so hyped. I thought Sentry was gonna be like like Superman in this game. Like, I thought he was gonna be like the best character in the entire, like, I thought he was gonna be so nuts, and he was so bad. But Void was so good, but like not in like this stupidly overpowered, like super hard-hitting character, but in the fact that, you know, he had such a unique way to deal damage when he first came out. It's still so unique with debuffs, just dealing damage on any debuffs, and it's just, those debuffs have so much utility. They equate to so much damage. Void is just tried and true, such a beast. Like, Void will always have a place in this game because of how good his abilities are. I absolutely love Void, man. I'd love a 6-star version of this guy. He's such a beast. He's just so reliable for power control. I'm sorry, not power control. For heal control, and he can counter like crazy power gain once he gets his petrifies up and everything like that. And once you get through the Void, the damage is actually super substantial. I used this guy for so much in Alliance War. I killed so many thing bosses with him, and he just crushed them all. He's such a monster. He has such a massive health pool too. Yeah, Void, he'll always have a spot at the top of this game, man. His abilities are just that good, you know. They'll just stick to being that good. And I really hope that 1 year from now, when I make another top 5 and I'm doing the science class again, I hope Sentry is up here. I hope Sentry gets just a sick buff, and I really hope he gets to make it into the top 5 of the science class, because Void's lonely without his buddy Sentry up here. But now we get to the #1 champion, the best science champion in the game. Again, aside from Quake, we already established he's the best. We're not talking about her. And that's my boy, Human Torch. So a lot of people think, like, on paper that, you know, Captain America, Void, maybe other science champs are better than Human Torch. But it's really not about on paper. It's about in-game. And Human Torch, when he first came out, people really didn't see how good he was, man. I right away thought he was good. Spent like 11,000 units for him. Like, imagine all the units I had right now going for him, trying to get him as a 6-star. Missed a 6-star, got him as a 5-star though. I went on to make like 20 videos in a row about him, trying to convince people how good this guy was. And so many people just didn't agree with me. They're like, he's not God tier, man. Like, you're crazy. You're just trying to justify that you spent all your units on him. And I was like, people just didn't want to agree with me, man. Like, I didn't understand why. But then, you know, something magical happened. Abyss of Legends came out, and Human Torch became a horseman. And that's when the entire community, like, a lot of people were starting to see how good Human Torch was, but that's when a massive shift happened. And everyone, not everyone, but like majority of the community was like, holy crap, Human Torch is a beast in Abyss. Like, he's so good against these Mystic champions. And I've been saying, dude, like, he's just the Mystic Slayer. Like, no one slays Mystic champs like Human Torch does. To be able to counter an entire class so extremely well, it is insane. And again, this was from my playing Torch. Like, I play Human Torch more than any other science champion easily. He puts in so much work for me. There's no way I can't say that he's the best science champ for me in this game. Like, he just puts in a ridiculous amount of work. He's my go-to anytime I see a Mystic champion, and he always slays it, man. And there's so many other scenarios where he's good too. His heal control is insane, and it's very unique in the fact that you don't need debuffs. You can just use Nova Flames. Speaking of Nova Flames, he gets ridiculous damage from Nova Flames, and he can apply that on any fight. So, you know, even when you have an unideal matchup against a non-Mystic champion, if you use the pre-fight, the damage is still great. It is still phenomenal. Nova Flame, nothing in this game is immune to it. So it's such a powerful ability, man. It's really insane. Like, I can't believe Kabam had the audacity to buff this guy at one point. The buff was so small, but still, he did not need a buff, dude. Like, it's honestly crazy. Yeah, dude, I love Human Torch so much. He's one of my favorite champs in the entire game, and I just think he is such a beast. He's put in so much work for me in Alliance War. I've taken out so many Mojo bosses with him, so many Mystic champs in Alliance War. He shreds them all, you know? And even if they're not Mystic, if they have some kind of energy-based attack through their basic attacks or their special attack 1, you know, he can still be a really good option because he can gain smolders. For example, you know, like Darkhawk, his special 1 is a beam of energy, so blocking it gives Torch like 4 smolders, increases the temperature, and then it's kind of like a pseudo Mystic matchup with those energy-based attacks. And yeah, Torch like shreds non-Mystic champs in Abyss, like Darkhawk, like Iron Man Infinity War. Like, just on his damage alone, he can take down Iron Man Infinity War in Abyss, which is ridiculous. That's so impressive. So yeah, I think Human Torch is the king of the science class, even though on paper his abilities, you wouldn't think they'd quite stack up against like Void and Captain America, Infinity War, and maybe some other champs, but in practice, I think he surpasses them, honestly. I think he surpasses Quake too, but that's a topic for another day. I'm not in the fact that he's a better champ than Quake. I use him a lot more than Quake. Even if I played Quake more, like, Torch, just so many uses I find so many uses for this guy. But yeah, I'm still saying Quake's the best. You know, I'm not trying to say otherwise, because I don't want to piss off the Quakers. And I honestly believe she is the best science champ. But she's ridiculously OP. But Kabam is releasing that new node countering miss and evade. So I don't know. We could see Quake getting a bit of a nerf if we see that node more. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the top 5 science champions in MCOC. That's my list. Again, personal opinion, Lagacy's opinion. You don't have to agree. But if you do agree with some parts or disagree, please do let me know down in the comment section down below. I'd love to take a read, see what you guys are saying. As for some honorable mentions, definitely got some honorable mentions. Red Guardian is pretty cool. He's got some really unique utility. The only problem is that doesn't take him to the top 5 of the class. He does some struggles with damage output, I find, especially with his critical damage. He's reliant on just getting RNG lucky with the crits, and in a matchup against like Dr. Doom, it's pretty rough. I've actually timed out to Dr. Doom in Alliance War, 5-minute timers. It's ridiculous. Some other honorable mentions. Spider-Ham, this dude is so wacky and cool with his power stings. He can actually do some crazy damage. I've seen some cool stuff. And surprisingly, Immortal Hulk, man, this guy kind of went from meme to hero over the course of his release. Just kind of crazy. Like I said, when we were talking about Immortal Abomination, like this guy was such a disappointment at first, but now he's getting used quite a bit, and he's pretty impressive if you play him correctly. So it's pretty cool that his transformation in the community. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the top 5 champs. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree. If you did enjoy the video though, I would appreciate you dropping a like. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.